Good morning, everyone. Good morning, warriors. You morning warriors are here with me this morning. Good morning. This is Tim Koger. It is new every morning. Good morning, Tom. Nice to have you along this beautiful but cool, crisp morning here in Central West Virginia. And I'm sure it's somewhat crisp in Virginia as well. It is November 13th, 2025, and you are watching a live presentation of It's New Every Morning. I have some interesting stories this morning. I'm looking forward to getting some of these to you. Now, I have to admit something this morning. Good morning, Sue. I slept in a little bit this morning, so I had to rush to get this stuff ready. I had some of it already planned, but most of it not. I scurried through the news of the morning and things that I needed, so I need to go through it to find the things that I find interesting that I hope you find interesting. And so here I am. I'm ready to roll. I'm excited. I've told you many times I'm a morning person. And this is morning. I've got my hot cup of tea. For the people that follow this, I don't drink coffee, but I love hot tea this time of year. And so let's get started with what we got going on now. I need to remind everybody, this is podcast number 19. I don't know how long I'll continue to do this. So if you like what I'm doing here, please share it with your friends so the group will grow and it'll encourage me to keep doing it over and over. And it has been growing some, and I'm thankful for that. But my goal is to get this out. Good morning, Emily. My goal is to get this out to as many people as I can. So if you see value in it, please share it. Yes, Tom asked me about a hat. I need to print one backwards so you can read WVU. But do you know why I wear a hat in the mornings? If anyone wonders, I'm just real with you. On the days that I wear a hat are days that I have bad hair days early in the morning. If my hair is stuck all over the place, I think you probably don't want to see that, so I put a hat on. For days that I don't have a hat on, that means my hair looks pretty okay. So it's as good as it gets. Anyway, so on days that my hair is stuck all over the place, you'll see a hat. So anyway, I'm looking forward to today. I've had 2 really busy days, actually 3 really busy days this week. Today is going to be a little slower for me. I'm going to be in my office some, and I got to do a few things. But I'm looking forward to this day as I look forward to every day. So God has given me another day, and I'm going to use it to bless people. That's my goal. So anyway, let's get started. Of course, the biggest news of the day is that the government shutdown is over. And the reason I'm excited about this story is because it's not going to be a story as of the end of the week. But President Trump has ended the U.S. government shutdown, the longest one in history. Both the Senate and the House have passed bills. The House most recently voted yesterday, I think, 222 to 209 against it. And my first question is, who voted? 209 people voted not to to start this back up. Those 209 people are not doing not being very responsible to the American public by wanting this to continue on. That's all I got to say about that. But federal workers are being told to be back to work on Thursday. So it looks like everything is rolling back out on Thursday. Now, something else that's going on with the government is the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia pressed the final penny yesterday. Yes, President Trump has decided to end the penny production. Earlier this year he announced that. And one of the reasons is that, I guess the main reason is that it costs 4 cents to make a 1 cent coin. Now, I don't know what everybody else thinks about that, but that's just not very good business, And so I understand why they're doing it. I kind of, sentimentally, I kind of hate to see the 1 cent, the penny go away. A penny for your thoughts will be now a nickel for your thoughts, I guess. I don't know, but it is going away. That doesn't mean they can't someday make them again. If they can figure out how to do it, a little bit more effective. But man, if it costs 4 cents to make one, then we're losing money every time we make one. And that's just not good business. That's not good government. First penny was minted in 1793, and it was pure copper. It had Lady Liberty on it, and you could actually, in 1793, with a penny, you could buy a piece of candy. And candy was a big deal in 1793 because there wasn't a lot of candy. It's not like it is now. It's everywhere. Candy was a luxury, and for many years in this country, it was a luxury. I remember my mom talking about it was a real treat when they got candy. I think they used to get it like after they finished hoeing all the corn second time every year. Then they were, their father celebrated that with candy, and they looked forward to that candy. So candy's a big deal. But anyway, and candy's still a big deal today. There's just so much of it. So in 1909, President Theodore Roosevelt had the mint change the picture from Lady Liberty to Abraham Lincoln, which what we're commonly know today if you see a penny. If you see a Lady Liberty penny, that means it's older than 1909. So be aware of that. So, what happened was, copper prices raised, kept going up and going up. So in 1982, many of us were alive in 1982, they started making a penny primarily with zinc. So zinc is cheaper than copper, and so they started making it mostly with zinc. In 1982, not that long ago. Well, from my perspective, it isn't. So merchants have been working on the process of trying to figure out how to like round up, round down, whatever, payments and change, and because pennies are going to become more and more short. Already started. Now there is a bill that going through that to try to make that transition system happen. The problem is it's illegal in 10 states to round, so we'll see where that goes. Next story: Down syndrome. There is a possible new treatment for Down syndrome coming out, and I'm over my brain a little bit explaining this, but delivering a connection-building protein to star-shaped cells in the brain could reverse changes in the neutron circuits that are seen in Down syndrome. Now, this is all new research, and that's not ready or anything, but it is promising that they're figuring out how to if they can actually reverse Down syndrome. That would be interesting and also complex. So I don't know exactly where that's going to go, that story, but I will try to follow it when I see it. The next story is about one of World War II's most famous but overlooked legends. In fact, it would not surprise me if you've never heard of this, because I don't think I've ever heard. Now, you history buff may be familiar with this, but in World War II, there were young Soviet women, including even teens, and this is Soviet now. They flew wooden crop dusters on midnight bombing raids, and it terrified the Nazis. Okay? I mean, it was always late at night. They couldn't hear them. They went slow. Anyway, you know what they were called? The Nazis called them this: night witches. And it was one of the most effective bombing units as they flew these little things, these little wooden crop dusters. They only went they didn't go even 100 miles an hour. They were slow. They were quiet. Now, they were quiet. They had no radar, no radios, no parachutes. And they were flew by young Soviet women, mostly teens and a few in their 20s. and it absolutely scared the Nazis because they couldn't hear them coming. They didn't know they were there. It was always at midnight. They're trying to sleep, and they hated them. But most people don't even know those things existed. I didn't know they existed, but they became the most feared, the most feared group against the Nazis in World War II. But like I said, a lot of people, I mean, it's kind of disappeared. People don't even know they existed. But now they existed. They were called the Night Witches. And I got one more story, and that's all I got for today. And this is an interesting story. And AI is in the news a lot. Artificial intelligence, and it's here, and we need to adapt to it one way or the other. I don't mind change, and I'm okay with it, but it's kind of hard to wrap your head around AI. At least it is for me. I mean, I understand the technology, but just where it all goes and is a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous about where AI is going. I like it in some sense, but anyway, the story goes, it's becoming nearly impossible for people to tell the difference between music generated by AI and that created by humans. At least that's what a survey says. Now, they ask about 9,000 people to listen to two clips, one made by humans and one made by AI. 97% of those people could not distinguish the difference between the AI music, the generated music, and the human created music. 97%. For almost everyone couldn't tell the difference. And that shouldn't surprise me, but when I read that story, I thought, where are we going with all this? I mean, where's it going to go? I mean, I think what we as society need to do, and some people are excited about AI and some people are scared to death about AI. And there's people all the way in between. I'm neither on either. I'm not necessarily excited about it, but I'm not scared of it. And I think that we as a society, and me personally as an individual, I just need to learn how to use it to my advantage. And I will talk about this more in some videos that I'll be making down the road. But I think as us as Americans, as people, we have an advantage over AI. AI can put all kinds of information together, unbelievable information, music or whatever. But what AI can't do is the emotions that a person can do, and putting in perspective into things, because it doesn't actually think. It just generates information. And so what's going to happen is everybody's information is going to look alike. As when you're competing, or if you're, working with something or whatever, everybody's information is going to be AI. So it's all going to look alike. It's going to be cloned, so to speak, cloned information. And because of that, it's all going to look alike. So therefore, to separate yourself from what all looks alike, you have to put in personal emotion and things that AI cannot do. Now, I'll get in more depth in that down the road, and it probably will end up being on my YouTube channel, which you'll hear more about that in the next week or so, as I prepare a YouTube channel that has some unique perspectives that and help things that I think will help you with your everyday life and thinking forward. But anyway, with that, I'm going to wind today up. I hope you enjoyed some of the stories. I hope you enjoyed listening. Be sure, if you are enjoying this, to love it and share it, because that's the way this group grows, is by you sharing this information and letting people know about it. And from there, we can keep it going. All right. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm looking forward to, like I said, a beautiful day. The sun's going to be shining here in Central West Virginia. It's going to be a little crisp, but it's going to be shining. And you guys have a great, blessed day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Bye-bye.